Hello my loves, welcome to Peek and Choose My 5-Star Lifestyle. I am Nicole Payne. Thank you so much for joining me again today. As you know, I say my 5-Star Lifestyle basically consists of me tapping into my imagination, my intuition. I follow my intuition every day. I live my passion. I connect with myself and with people around me. And every day I make sure that I make choices that at the end of each day leaves me happy. Okay? I hope you're doing the same for yourself today, whatever your bottom line is for each day. When you put your head on that pillow, you know, you want to feel fulfilled, or you want to have peace, or you want to have whatever it is you're seeking. Make sure that you make choices every day. It's okay to say yes when you have to say yes. When you want to say no, go for it. Don't question yourself. Just, you know, make those decisions that, you know what, as I would say sometimes, when I want to make a decision that I'm not too sure about, I will pull back. Or, you know, if I'm cool with being spontaneous and going for it, you know, I'd be like, okay, I check myself. Okay, am I going to kick myself in the ass tomorrow? If not, I'm good to go, you know. Yeah. So today, I kind of have like a funny story, but it's a life lesson. It's not funny when you, in the context of what really was happening in the moment, but it was just interesting, the responses of everybody that was involved. And I want to use this as more of an analogy for your life after the fact. After you hear this, I mean, I want to know how you would have dealt with a situation like this and how you can apply yourself in a situation that comes before you if it's similar to what I'm going to share. Okay, so picture this. All right, I'm over visiting at a house, a home, and you know, it's a bunch of people there. You know, everybody's interacting. We're watching TV. We're eating. We're chatting, and all of a sudden you hear somebody say, "Oh my God, there's a fire." Yeah. So, you know, immediately everything stops, right? Okay, fire? Where? So sure enough, we all looked out the window and the neighbor's fence was on fire. All right. So the neighbor's fence is on fire, and we are in Ottawa, Canada. Okay. For those of you that are, you know, elsewhere around the world, it's been winter since last year. We haven't had a break. We haven't had a hot break. So think about, you know, in the middle of winter, somebody's fence is on fire. So that was the first odd thing that was happening, right? Like, where did that come from? So the fence is on fire, and everybody's like out of their seats, and we're all peering through the window. We're like, what are we gonna do? And everybody's freaking out. And, you know, somebody gets on the phone. They're like, we should call 911, you know, let's call the fire department. And I'm looking going, okay, pause. Okay, what's going on here? So I look out like everybody else. We're all fussing and fighting as to what to do, but nobody's doing anything. So the first thought was to call for help from the fire department. And I'm thinking, no. I said, you know, it's the fire's outside. It can be contained. If you call the fire department, there's going to be trucks everywhere, police cars everywhere. And, you know, it's not like a big fire. This can be handled right here and then. I'm thinking this, and I'm trying to tell the people in the home that that's not the best route to go. Whilst this is happening, I guess the neighbor next door saw the fire too. So what they decided to do was to march over to the house. Okay, they're going to go rescue the homeowners because the fence is on fire. They march over. They walk past the fire, right, and goes and knocks on the door. So they're banging on the door now to get the homeowners' attention, to tell them, excuse me, I just came to warn you that your fence is on fire. Okay, think about that for a moment, okay? Then somebody else decides, okay, wait a minute, I'll be the hero and I'll go put the fire out with my bare hands. So they rush out of the house, they rush to the fire, and then it dawns on them, wait a minute, it's a fire, how am I going to put the fire out? So I'm processing this is happening like one after the other. I'm thinking, this is very simple, okay? The fire can be contained, and all it needs is some water. We don't need a fire department or a hero. So I go into the kitchen. I, you know, dug in their cupboards. I found a pail, a big bowl, and I filled it up with water. And just as I hit the door, the person who went out to put the fire out without a plan as to how they're going to do it was able to, you know, take the bowl from me. And within 2 trips, the fire was out. Okay? So to pull everything together, you know, the homeowner came out after the fire was out. So the guy that went to do the whole rescuing, you know, banging on the door, managed to get the homeowner to come outside. At this point, the fire was already out. So here he was, you know, at the door telling you, oh, your fence was just a fire. I just came to warn you. So the homeowner was thankful, of course. And, you know, it was interesting after the fact. He just kept walking back and forth from the house, literally scratching his head like, how did this happen? None of us could figure out how did this happen. Like, where did the fire come from? You know, the fire was just on the fence, just ball of fire, you know? And, you know, it took a whole household full of people screaming, get the fire engine, and another one going to, you know, rescue the homeowners, and another one going to, you know, put out the fire with nothing to put the fire out with. And all it took was a pail of water, 2 pails of water, game over. You know, fire's out and everybody's safe, and we all went back to watching our TV show. Now, if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking, okay, you probably would have picked up one of those scenarios, right? I guess, maybe call the fire truck, or rescue the people from the fire, or put the fire out, or just bring the pail of water. I don't know which one you would have gone with, but from my perspective of things, this wasn't the first time I had this incident with the fire. I mean, I should be a firefighter. It always happens. I had like 2 other incidents prior to that, but the one that was interesting, that actually helped me to remain calm in that situation and kind of stand back and just look at the problem and then try to solve the problem per se, was my mom, my sister, and I. We were making, I think it was my mom, ideally, I think she was the one actually was making home fries for us, right? I mean, that's one of the biggest causes of kitchen fires, really, causes of kitchen fires. The oil gets really hot, so it overheats, and the oil overheated, and it burst into flames. So of course she panicked, and we all went running into the kitchen. My sister and I, we were home, and you know, we were all like jumping around the kitchen. Oh my God, the kitchen's on fire! Oh my God, you know, what are we gonna do? And my sister reaches for the fan. Big mistake. She reaches for the fan, you know, over the stove. She pushes the button, and the fire got sucked up by the vent, and it went through the, you know, the window. You could see billowing through the side of the house, and freaking out. So what's the next thing you do? Oh my God, call the fire department. So I got on the phone without thinking. I called the fire department, and in all the fuss, and we're all still staring at the fire, the big flame. My brother was home, thankfully, and he didn't know what was going on. He just heard all the yelling, so he comes downstairs very calmly. Actually, he didn't even run. He came down the stair, walks to the kitchen, walks to the stove, took the handle of the pan, and walks to the sink, throws it in the sink. Game over. Fire's out. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. And I remember just standing back going, was it that simple? Was it that simple? You just grab the pan and, you know, throw it in the sink? You know, I understand when you're panicking, when you're in a situation and you panic, yes. I mean, you tend to make crazy decisions and you overreact, right? That's part of, I mean, human natural reaction, right? And behavior. But sometimes you really got to stand back, you know. I felt so silly after the fact because the fire truck did show up, you know. And it was a big mess outside. And then you had to go and say, oh, the fire, everything's under control. Fire's gone. You know, how silly. So, yes, these are actual stories that happened, but as I mentioned, there are things to be taken away from that. So because of that situation, I think it helped me, obviously, when we had a big, you know, thing going on in that home as to how to put up the fire, and everybody's in and nobody made a decision and nothing gets done. But all it took was somebody to go to the sink, grab some water and pour it on the fire, and the problem solved, right? So I want you to take away from this the fact that whatever it is that you have going on in your life, whatever little situation comes up in the form of a quote-unquote fire, right? Whatever it is, whether it be something in a relationship or at work or whatever it is, that little test comes up. Because also I want you to remember that we still couldn't figure out where the fire came from and what caused it. It's the middle of winter, right? And whatever the reason was, you know, we all had a chance to react, and everybody reacted in a different way. But some people overreacted, and some people went ahead as the one that went out without a plan. You know, they're going to do something about it, but they didn't have a plan as to how they're going to do it. And one wanted to rescue somebody that was in a situation, but then they didn't even try to stop the situation, you know, from escalating, right? So these are little things that you might want to apply in your personal lives. When something happens, focus on what the problem is and try to contain the problem instead of involving other people or involving other thoughts or other reactions. You know, stand back and see what the simple solution is, and do that, and keep everything, you know, in context, and solve the problem. All right. So yeah, so that's my little story. As in, you know, what happens in life is there to teach you how to move forward and to deal with whatever you're facing, so that you can have that 5-star lifestyle every time, right? And it's not about overreacting and being too, you know, I don't know, just not knowing what to do, But just always know that whatever you go through is to teach you something so that when it happens again, you know what to do so that you can have smooth sailing. Okay? All right. Keep the home fire burning and contain those little brush fires that come up. Okay? Don't overreact. Peek and choose. I absolutely love you. Like and subscribe and watch for your notification. Peek and choose. Your 5-star lifestyle, my 5-star lifestyle.